What's up, everybody? Welcome to Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. I'm Jonathan Beardsley.
And I am Brandon May.
Thanks for joining us. Before we dive into this week's playlist, we're going to discuss our favorite albums of the year so far. But before we get into our current frontrunners, do you think it's been a good, bad, or average year in music so far?
Honestly, I think it started off a little slow, but I think we've gotten a lot of good music this year, if you know where to look for it. And yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think it started slow as well, but it has blossomed into, I don't know about incredible, but definitely a unique year. And I think some of our current front runner picks will reflect that.
Right.
So, with that said, we don't need to do a top five like we will for the end of the year episode. We could just say our current favorite or favorites and go from there. So, starting with EDM, what is your favorite album of the year so far?
Rodriguez Jr. Feathers and Bones.
I never doubted it, even for a second. Beautiful album. I imagine that one is still in your daily rotation. Did you get the vinyl in yet?
I did. I have Mr. Rodriguez Jr.'s autograph. I think it's limited to like 150 or something like that. I'm pretty excited about that one.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if that is your album of the year overall at the end.
It's possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but we've got some really great other music this year. What about you, man?
True.
What's your favorite dance album of the year?
This was a tough one. We have gotten some absolute bangers, but the one I keep coming back to is Quest for Fire by Skrillex. I
There you
love
go.
that album. I think it's way different than anything he's ever done, and I think we'll see its influence on dance music for years to come. But some of my other favorites, Rodriguez Jr., Feathers and Bones, Perfect World by Last Lanes, and even Light Places by LPGOB. All of those are incredible. It could easily end up being my favorite by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean there's been quite a few, and at the half year point is when I really start to go back to listen to
Same.
what we've really been covering, and I'm sure I'll find some gems in what we've already listened to. We're pretty busy with new music pretty constantly, so I don't go back to a lot of things that I have consistently or would have consistently gone back to. But yeah, yeah, Rodriguez Jr. gets it for me so far this year.
Feathers and Bones, great album.
Yep,
All right, moving on to pop. It's been a pretty slow start in terms of pop music this year,
I
depending on
agree.
your definition and preferences, of course. But
Right.
I think we've gotten a couple of great ones so far. I'm still playing the Caroline Polachek album almost every week, so I'm going to say that's my current favorite. What's yours?
I will go ahead and concur, sir.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, there's been some
it's an
other
easy
good
front
ones,
runner.
but that one is a great one. All right, next up we have my personal favorite genre, R&B. We've gotten a lot of good R&B over the past 6 months, but not as many instant classics as I was hoping for, which sucks. But it made choosing my current favorite much easier because it's been my album of the year since it came out, and that is Red Moon and Venus by Kali Uchis. I've listened to it dozens of times already. Still perfect. I think it's her best to date, and I would not be surprised if that's my overall album of the year
There you
six
go.
months from now. Uh, don't want to say it's impossible to dethrone, but it's pretty impossible to dethrone. What about you, man? Any clear-cut favorites for you in R&B this year?
Honestly, it's a toss up right now between Kali Uchis, but I actually have been very intrigued with Kalila's album.
Yeah,
It has
it's a
really
grower.
it really took me by surprise, and the textures that she uses are just so cool. So yeah, I think
I
I,
think
I think that's it.
you ended up giving Baby Rose a nine.
I
That
did.
that that was a good album as well. At least worth mentioning. Maybe not better than the others, but definitely worth mentioning.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, we have rap, which has not been great from a quantity perspective this year. We did say in our end of the year episode last December that we'd be seeing a pretty steep drop off since so many great artists put out albums in 2022. I didn't think it'd be as slow as it has been, though. Until K Tremine came out, my favorite rap album of the year was the deluxe edition of Tyler the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost, which is great, but not a great indicator for the genre as a whole if a deluxe edition is better than every new album coming out. Luckily, Amina and Kate came through with the album in the summer and my current front runner for rap album of the year. What's your current front runner?
My current front runner is a toss up again between Que Termine, which is a fantastic album, but
Yeah.
I think it's being edged out by Larry June's The Great Escape.
Oh, okay. Which we'll be talking about later on in this episode.
No, no, that's the
Oh,
one.
the Larry June one. The
Yep, the
Larry June
Larry
one.
June and
My
Alchemist.
bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, man, I know it wasn't quite your cup of tea, but man, that hit a scratched an itch I didn't know I needed scratching. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you found it, man. Yeah, that one just didn't connect with me as much. I do
It's
like
fair.
a lot of the Alchemist project, but I have trouble loving them, I guess, is my
Okay,
issue.
that's fair.
All right. Last, certainly not least, we have rock music, and of all the subgenres it's made of, this is your bread and butter, man. So hit me with your current favorites in whatever order or genre you want.
I think I'll give you three of them from some different genres here.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's go with D'Evangelics Zool. Love that record. That's a whenever I want to listen to death metal right now, it's let's with D'Evangelics. That's the way to go. And then Pierce the Veil's Jaws of Life.
Yep.
And then the album I go back to fucking constantly though, dude, is Dosser's Violent Picture, Violent Sound. I can't
Yeah,
get
you
enough of
really
it.
clicked with that one,
I
man.
can't get enough of it. I think I've listened to that album since for the year. It'd be in the dozens for
Yeah,
sure.
I think Swiss Army Man is to me what Dosser is to you,
Fair,
kind of.
super fair.
Hey, those are all great picks. We do share one of them, which is Pierce the Veil. My current front runner is Space Heavy by King Cruel. I'm still playing that one sometimes multiple times a day. And
Great
we
record.
gotta say, Petra Dragonic by King Gizzard.
Oh yeah, got can't not talk
That
about that
one,
one, right?
easy top three for me. But yeah, before we move on to the episode, is there anything on the release calendar coming out later this year that you could see changing any of your current favorites just based on excitement alone?
Honestly, Olivia Rodrigo might take the pop spot.
I could see that. Yep.
There's that. If Under Oath has a new project that's going to drop this year, that's a possibility to maybe edge into rock. But I honestly at this point there would have to be a fucking killer of an album dropped for me to
Yeah.
change my top five at this point.
They're only chasing more safety or something
Yeah,
like that.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think the only
Yeah,
one. Oh, hit me. Do you got any more?
the Chemical Brothers.
Oh, of course, which we still don't have a release date for yet, which is why I'm still like kind of waiting on that.
I think it'll be the fall.
Yeah, I think so too. I will just feel a lot better when we have a release date. Porter Robinson said January 2020, album coming soon. It was a year and a half later.
It sure was. It sure was.
The only one on the calendar for me that I think has a strong case is probably the new Movements album, but you said it too, the Olivia Rodrigo one, based on the single, should be good, which we will be talking about very soon.
Yes.
Um, all right. With that out of the way, are you ready to dive into this week's playlist?
I sure am, man. We've got some interesting music this week.
All right, let's begin starting with the new one from the Chemical Brothers, Live Again. Talk to me about this one.
Look, man, I am a huge Chemical Brothers fan. This is odd and interesting. It's a little different. I have high hopes for the album, and I'm very curious how this is going to fit into it.
Yeah, this song was released in conjunction with the announcement of their upcoming biography that we talked about on last week's show. What is there to say about it, man? It's new Chemical Brothers. You just
Right.
gotta enjoy it, and hopefully we get this album sooner rather than later.
I did pre-order that biography, so I'm very
Of
excited to
course
read
you did.
it. It'll be a nice little addition to my music library here.
You almost need like a whole Chemical Brothers corner of your music collection now.
I have a lot of their stuff, man.
Money well spent.
Yes.
All right, moving on. We got a new one from Gorgon City and Drama called Lost and Found. This is the latest single from their upcoming album Salvation that's set to come out on July 21st. It's a nice mid-tempo house tune. Got me excited to hear the rest of the album. What about you?
I'm gonna go a step further than Nice Man. This is
Hit
fucking
me.
great stuff, man. Piano leads into deep bass lines with great vocals over the top is what Gorgon City did to
Yep.
draw me in, and this is fucking it right here, man.
More of that for sure.
Yep.
Are you surprised we're getting another album so soon?
No, they're extremely hardworking, and I think they need to continue to prove themselves in a very very competitive market.
True. Well put. All right, moving on, we get a new one from Kill the Noise and Joywave called Drive. The run Kill the Noise has been on this year has been fucking insane, man. Looking back at
Insane.
his last four singles, nothing but absolute bangers. He announced back in May that his new album, Hollow World, will be coming out at some point this year, but we still haven't gotten an official release date from that. Every single he puts out, though, puts it higher on my most
Right?
anticipated list. What'd you think of this one?
Kill the Noise is drifting from his dubstep roots and instead opting for a very interesting take on bass music. Look, man, I love the Joywave feature. I'm very stoked for the Kill the Noise remix of Every Window is a Mirror. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Kill me.
But I really like this song, man. Again, like you said, they're 4 for 4 this year. So
Moving on, we got a new one from Amelie Lenz called Radiance. How you feeling about this techno banger?
those 90s wow wow
Yep.
sounds have just always fucking sent me, bro. I don't know where Amelie got this one from or sampled this from, but they're very prominent in one of my favorite. I'm not going to even say one of my favorite trance track of all time, Exploration of Space by Cosmic Gate.
Hmm.
Wow, wow, just let's go, bro. Like,
That sound just took you back.
oh yeah, just immediate nostalgia, and I played this track like a ton of times this week.
Agreed, same. We don't have a techno song of the week award, but if we did, this would be it.
Yep,
All right, got a new one from Estella Borsma called What You Looking For. This is fucking up-tempo piano house fused with techno, man.
yep,
Sign me up twice
yep.
because this is great.
Yeah, man, I've been really digging the female energy in techno lately, and Estella comes onto my radar or came onto my radar, and I've liked every track I've heard from her so far. So
Same. All right. We got a new one from LP Giobbi. This is called Geodisco. It's the extended mix. I'm not sure the recorded version of the song carries the same energy it would probably have live, but I still thought this one was pretty good. What about you?
yeah, I had fun listening to it, but yeah, like you said, it feels like it's a. She probably dropped it for a Splash House or something, you know.
Yes. Um, how many times has she played Palm Springs this year? Will this be like the third?
Yeah, man, I don't know, but I didn't ever find out when her and DJ Tennis were spinning up in the high desert, so I'm kind of mad about it.
Yeah, I think that was like you had to be cool and just know type of thing. Because I follow him on Instagram or her on Instagram and saw nothing about when any of those places were
I
or
found
dates,
out
venues.
after it had happened. I still don't know the date that it happened, but I found out after it happened, you had to sign up for her mailing list on her website in order to be notified that they were going to be coming. So it kind of made me a little sad. But
Hopefully it happens again.
yeah, hopefully it happens again. Although I doubt it. And honestly, they probably shouldn't. It was a one time thing, and if you were there, you're there. If it's kind of one of those things. If you know, you know. You know.
Yep. If you know, you know, you know. Um, all right. We got a Sasha remix this week of Can You Feel This by Nolan and Amber Jolene.
Sasha
Good Lord.
remixes over everything, John. Jesus
Yes.
Christ, this is groovy as fuck.
Yeah, man. I knew it would be great when I saw the word Sasha remix. Was not wrong.
You can
Uh,
tell by the way it's worded, you know?
exactly. We got a Major Laser remix of Rhyme Dust. I am not feeling this one, man, and it's not because it's not better than the original, and it's not because I hate Diplo. I'm just not feeling it. What about you?
You know what this made me realize? I think Major Lazer was playing Coachella, and my whole group were like, "Let's go see the Major Lazer," and I was like, "Nah." And I'm really glad that I didn't because I'm just not a big fan. I almost never like their music, but I do have a good time listening to it, and that's kind of like a weird juxtaposition to feel. It's like a weird conflicting emotion. I don't like this, but God, am I having fun? You know?
Yeah, that's a very odd sensation. It's like accidentally taking ecstasy or something. All right, we got a fucking Macioplex remix of Like an Old Dog by Royksop and Pix. I am feeling the fuck out of this one, man. Leave it to Macioplex to remix probably my least favorite song from Profound Mysteries into a certified jam. How are you feeling about it?
This remix is fucking insane, bro. Maceo Plex plays with textures and timing so well. Really shows that off here. Massive remix. It most definitely eclipsed the original of this track for me.
Yes, we'll agree with that.
Just that
Uh,
build and then the fucking whatever the hell synth he's using this. Oh my
the
god, man.
Macioplex synth.
Oh my
That's what we'll
god,
call
man.
it. Yeah, it's a really, really good flip of that song. We finally got some new vintage culture. This one's called Fallen Leaf. How you feeling about it?
This is a really great track, man. Good for him for booking Splash House. It's probably gonna be a good show.
Yeah, I think this is one of the stronger singles he's released this year. I like it. I'm still waiting on that album release date though.
Yeah, and
Um,
honestly, I remember I watched the live stream of his Coachella set, and I really didn't like it. So, very curious to. I just maybe it wasn't his vibe. Maybe the Sahara tent was off. I don't know. It felt
nah,
manufactured.
it's been weird because I feel like up until the album announcement earlier this year, I really liked almost everything he put out. And the second he announced that, I haven't really liked any of the singles since. So very torn on it, but I'm still excited if it does happen.
Yeah, and man, I when I found out he was playing Splash House, I immediately put on the mix that I discovered him with, which is some Sunset mix from 2021. That, God, man, I got to thinking like, man, this is fucking good. He opens up with his remix of I think On My Knees by Rufus, or it might be another one of their songs. But yeah, man, it just to open your set with that and still have the next hour and a half be great is, I mean, you've got to have some talent there, but something has been off, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, his remix of Slow Down, that track Coming Home, his remix of Get What You Want by Lastlings, like he's put out some great music recently, but when it's coming to his original releases, it's I don't know, something's off. But hopefully something changes. We will definitely continue to cover all of this stuff for sure.
Right.
We got a new one from Hot Since 82 called Love Me. How you enjoying this one?
That bass line, bro.
It's a really good bass line.
Yeah, it's good. But the bass line hit me. It's not my
It's
favorite Hot Since 82 track.
No, it's a really good track for like sunrise sets. I could see Carl Cox dropping this one live, which is a pretty high compliment.
It's true.
So we got all right. So we got a new one from Odessa and Yellow House called Heavier. I know your expectations are low for their upcoming psychedelic indie dance EP, but I enjoyed this track more than I enjoyed anything from the last Goodbye, so I'm going into it with an open mind. Did actually hearing this change your mind or opinion on it at all?
Yes, it's good. It's not Odessa, but yet I like it better than whatever the fuck they put out with that album last year. That won a Grammy? Question mark? Question mark? I'm stoked to hear whatever else they put out during with this style. It got me excited. I'm not gonna lie.
Same. Moving on, we got a new one from Olivia Rodrigo called Vampire. This is my song of the week.
Here you
I
go.
was wondering how she would top the overwhelming success and acclaim that she achieved with her debut album Sour back in 2021. I think the sophomore slump is always something to keep in mind, especially with an up and coming pop artist like her, but she put any of notion of that to bed with this fucking incredible power ballad. Usually takes a few listens for like a mainstream pop song to grow on me, but I thought this one was incredible before my first listen was over, and it's done nothing but grow on me more with subsequent listens. I'm sure I'll be getting tired of it when I'm hearing it for the millionth time a few months from now when it's playing in every grocery store and pharmacy in the country. But for now, I'm enjoying the hell out of it, and I can't wait to see what else her new album Guts has in store when it drops September 8th. I'm sure we're going to get another single or two before then, but this is a
Yeah,
hell of a first step in the new album rollout. What were your thoughts on it?
we'll probably get 6 singles. What did I text you was
God,
playing
I
at the
hope
grocery
not.
store the other day that I was like, I gotta text John. Um,
Oh my
but
God, I will look it up while
man, this
you
is
hit me.
phenomenal. She has a way with words, and the way she delivers everything is just top notch. I know she's a big artist, but she's gonna be fucking huge, man. And like you said, I think,
Yep.
I mean, I think we were all kind of waiting in trepidation of a sophomore slump from her, but I think she might have just. I mean, let's hope the rest of the singles are this good, but this is phenomenal. It's a really good pop song.
I'm glad we're on the same page with it. I cannot find that text because we text a lot more than I realized. But I still do remember they're playing Spoon in the Cheesecake Factory. I'll
Right,
have
exactly.
all right, moving on. We got a new one from Benny and Mallrat called Do It Again. I thought this one was good, but it's not one of the more memorable Benny songs I've heard. Props to her for getting that bag from FIFA, though. Did you enjoy this one?
It's literally my notes in different words, man. Benny deserves all of the flowers and all of the video game soundtrack money she gets.
Yeah, she fucking rules. All right, moving on. We got a new one from Sampha called Spirit 2.0. I enjoyed the features we've heard from him recently, like his work on the newest Subtract album, but hearing him finally release a new solo song for the first time in like 6 years definitely hits different. I love it. This is more what I assume would be your style of R&B. Did you enjoy this one?
It's okay. I'm still getting used to Sampha's vocals.
Too slow for you?
Yep. I have to just back up for just a second. I found our text message, and ironically, it was Benny they were playing at the grocery store.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't have said anything if it wasn't that. But yeah, it was
What
Beach Boy.
fucking timing. Of course.
Yeah. It was
Damn, that's a perfect summer grocery store song.
Right.
Yeah, I think he hasn't announced a new album, but I think he'll grow on you, man.
We'll see.
All right, we got a new one from Tone Stith called Girls Like You. You know I've been anxiously awaiting from new music from him, and I don't think this one disappointed. It's one of the better instrumentals I've heard him on. His vocal performance is great. My only knock on it is that it ends a little bit abruptly, but I still really enjoyed it. What'd you think of this one?
Tone Stith might just be my favorite male R&B singer right now, man. He kills.
Damn, that's saying a whole lot.
He kills every track. A little slow on this track, but it really does work for it, and it worked for me. I liked this one.
Yeah, props to Tone Stith. Hopefully we get another album in the next year or so. Got a new one from Stormzy called Longevity Flow. I enjoyed his last album quite a bit, but it didn't have a lot of straightforward rap on it like his previous albums had, so it's nice to hear his two newest tracks back going back in that direction more. I thought this was a lot of fun. What about you?
Yeah, man, I agree with that. I love his wordplay, and he's got like this great delivery on everything that he does. It works, man. He's really good at what he does.
Agree. Damn, this one was almost my song of the week. J-Rock has returned with Cal Banks for a song called East Side. This was a fucking banger, man. Incredible beat, great verses, everything I was hoping it would be. Did you like this one?
J-Rock, bro? Man, This track goes fucking hard. God
It definitely does.
God damn.
It is a little weird to hear a prominent West Coast rapper rapping about the East Side so much, though.
Maybe he's talking about the east side of the west side.
I'm going to assume that that's the case.
He's talking about West Covina, man.
Got a new one from Lupe Fiasco called Outside. How are you enjoying this one?
Lupe's an interesting rapper, man, and I really do like his flow on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But does he like struggle with choruses, or maybe his choruses like just don't do it for me? But like verse Lupe, I'm like all about. Chorus Lupe, I'm like, why are you doing this?
I don't know. You think he should outsource more for hooks? Like, yeah, I could listen to him. I could listen to him rap over like a string heavy beat like this all day. I agree that sometimes the hooks don't work though. All right, dude, we got a new one from fucking Chica and Freddie Gibbs called Truth or Dare. How are you enjoying this one?
What the fuck, bro? This is great. That horn beat, Chica, and obviously Freddie kills it on this one. Oh my god.
Dude, yeah, you already know I'm loving this. This is two of my current favorites on the same track. All the verses are great. And after getting two new songs from Chica in a matter of weeks, I'm definitely hoping and anticipating a new EP at some point this year. Hopefully soon.
You're eating this.
I am
this year.
I am fed.
Oh man, yeah. I think after Triple S last year, Freddie's just on his feature game right now, and he's killing it.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of live stuff, a lot of festivals. It's festival season right now still, so
Yep.
I think most artists are kind of busy with that, which is why we're seeing a slight slowdown in new releases in
Yep.
most genres at least. All right, moving on to the rock realm of things, we got a new one from Solstein called Intersection. I guess this one's more like jazz, city pop. I don't really know, but I could definitely picture it in like the soundtrack to an old racing game or JRPG or something. So
I
I'm gonna say it's one of those.
I couldn't stop like imagining just going through my garage in GT3.
Yep.
Like just man, I heard this little jazz fusion track and I was like, you know what? I haven't thrown John a curveball in a while. Let's throw him some jazz.
I love how our curveballs are almost always jazz.
It's all jazz.
Oh man. All right, we got a new one from Crystal Fighters called Manifest. Talk to me about it.
So the Crystal Fighters are an interesting band. Have we? I don't know if we have we. Yeah, we've covered one of their albums, haven't
I
we?
feel like
Maybe,
we have. I
maybe.
feel like we have, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
I saw them in 2015 with my now wife. They had a giant, like a giant inflatable ball rolling around the pit. They make really peaceful
Nice.
music, and I love them for it. You might know the Crystal Fighters for featuring on a little track called "Love Is All I Got" with a little guy named Feed Me, which
Little guy.
yeah, right. But yeah, man, I like this track. I'm interested to see if they have a new project coming. It's weird, calming, psychedelic kind of rock, but it's also Brit pop at the same time. It's an interesting genre. Or interesting kind of blend. What did you think about it?
I did not really enjoy it, man. I can't
Fair,
even tell you what I don't like about it. I think everything they're doing is done fine, but the whole whistle infused folk rock sound with chanting vocals just were not my mindset this week.
fair. That's fair. Maybe this was
Moving
the
on.
curveball, and the jazz was welcomed.
Yes, yes. I was born into the jazz, my friend. We got a song called Five by a group called Small Crush. Where'd you find this one?
No clue, but they reminded me a lot of the Beths. A little bit more folky
Yeah.
though, and I gotta say it's pretty good,
Hmm.
man. Maybe a little too much like the Beths.
That's funny because I was gonna say I was getting similar vibes to like the Boy Genius album, but I think it's somewhere in between the Beths and Boy
There you
Genius.
go, fair.
It's a well-written song, kind of an earworm too.
It's good. I really did. I really listened to this a number of times this week, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Wow, this is good. This is good."
I dug it as well. Got a new one from Blur, St. Charles Square. I love how just timeless their sound is. Like if you told me this song came out in the 90s or 2000s, I'd believe it without even thinking twice, man. If their new album is full of songs like this, like we got with the first two singles, which I suspect it will be, I think we're in for a really good time. What about you?
Yeah, man, I'm a big fan of this song. Feels like Blur, and I think it's shaping up to be a good album so far. 2 for 2. Let's go.
Love seeing this album artwork on the playlist too.
God, this album is so. This album artwork is so beautiful.
Great choice. All right, got a new one from Mom Jeans, Alameda County Fair. Feel like this track is more of a grower than a lot of their last album was, but I'm digging it so far. Still super catchy and fun to listen to. How are you liking it?
It's a little too catchy, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. For me, I didn't go back to this as much as I like wanted to. Like it doesn't have that. It doesn't have that edge to it. It's like the edge has been mixed out.
Sweet Tooth was my rock album of the year last
It
year, so
was.
I always have high expectations going forward when they release new music, and this was just fine, but I'm still a super fan at this point.
Oh, for sure.
One band I am not a super fan of right now is Taking Back Sunday. This is their new track, the one. When did they turn into 30 Seconds to Mars?
Uh,
When did Adam turn into Jared? Like I don't know what's happening, but I do not like it one bit. What about you?
I think I might have seen them at their last good show because people have been talking about like for years now. Apparently, Adam has just been shitty live, and this song is whatever. It's not good. It's not terrible though. It sounds like 30 Seconds to Mars meets U2, meets kind of
That is not what I want. So like I fell off with a lot of we've talked about this a lot. In the
right.
2010s, I got super into EDM and I just did not keep up with the scene as much. And I fell off a lot of the bands, especially the Mount Rushmore ones like Fall Out Boy, My Chem, The Used, Taking Back Sunday. And I've come back around on pretty much all of them, except Taking Back Sunday, who I would argue had the best 3 album run of any of those bands that I just mentioned to
Right?
start their discography. It's baffling, but like maybe it's all the lineup changes. I don't even know who's in the band other than Adam at this point, but man, it is just not for me anymore. And it kind of bums me out because every time I see that they're releasing new music, I get excited.
Right. You like to see that name on the playlist, but the name doesn't match the sound, right?
And especially after getting the fucking 20-year anniversary of Tell All Your Friends and listening to that so much and just being like, God damn, this is one of the greatest albums of all time.
It really is, man.
Dude, it's flawless, not a miss. Like, and beyond not a miss, all absolute hits. Like, it's insane. But it is
Oh
what
well.
it is. Let's move on to this new one from Arrow Minds called Eat Me Alive. How you feeling about it?
So I have no clue how I found this band again, but they've got some fantastic
Chorus.
instrumentals. Great mixing on this one. I wish they got a little heavier on the vocals, but I did really like this one. It's kind of metalcore, kind of
Yep.
not, kind of heavy, like hard rock, kind of where Asking Alexandria tried to go, but this band does it better, you know?
It's if Seosin made Bring Me the Horizons there as a hell.
Fucking beautiful. To
Yeah.
erase everything I just said. Everybody listen to this man.
Um, yeah, man. I feel like you just instead of sleepwalk, you just get on Reddit and add shit that you find to
Honestly,
your Spotify, and
it's
then it ends
possible.
up on our
It's
playlist.
possible, bro. I mean, it's not just Reddit though. I go through Metal Archives, I go through Bandcamp,
Oh,
I
I'm
go through
sure. Yeah.
labels, and Reddit's a huge resource though. And if people want to find new music, you can't go there and go through genre specific subs or even like promote your music subs, which is filled with terrible rap artists. But every once in a while, you'll get a gem, and that's we'll talk about that in a minute. But
Yes.
yeah, man, this I like this one. Did you like this one?
Yeah, man, I did. It's like expressive vocals, punchy guitars, really fun, man.
Yep.
I I dug it.
Cool.
All right. We got a this one was kind of a curveball as well, man. So this is a Spanish punk song called In Punk We Thrash by Acides. And this is the type of song that just makes you want to start shoving anybody in your nearby vicinity when it comes on. Very fun. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. What about you?
Spanish punk rock. Gotta shout out my boy Omar at work for showing me this band. They are fantastic. I've been listening to their back catalog and I had no idea they were releasing a single, and then they released this one. I'm pretty sure, now I've been practicing my Spanish, but I'm pretty sure they said at one point, go die in the pit. I could be wrong, but if they did, they're fucking legends. They're
Yeah,
actually
that's
they're actually playing
incredible.
up near towards you up in Portland.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll have
I
to see
think
where
in
they're playing
September.
at. I'll
Probably some
check that
dingy
out.
bar. That's the place to go, though, man.
Exactly. Exactly. Maybe Dante's Inferno or something like that. All right, we got a new one from Under Oath called Lifeline (parentheses Drowning). As somebody who grew up in the golden age of the scene, there are just few things that make me happier than hearing Aaron and Spencer trade off vocals about super sad shit over melodic metalcore. So I was pleased with this one. What about you?
Oh man, you know I love Aaron's voice. You know I love Spencer's voice, but you also know that I like it when they get a little bit heavier. This track doesn't really have much heavy until like the very end. It's still a great track though. We'll see what happens. Do we know if this is for a new project yet or no?
No, I think this and their last single, Let Go, were both released right as they were starting tours. So I think they're just kind of promotional singles. I could see this one leading to an album eventually, though.
I gotta say, man, this their releases since Define the Great Line have gotten unnecessary fucking hate. And Voyeurist last year just got trashed on Reddit and on the
Oh,
internet
fuck those
as a whole.
people.
My man, that was a just a fantastic album, and I gotta say I disagree with the majority of the internet on at the very least Voyeurist. So
Yeah, it's like, tell me you never listened to The Sound of Separation without telling me you never listened to The
right,
Sound of Separation.
exactly.
Um, all right. We got a new one from Truth Club called Blue Eternal. I don't listen to a ton of like fuzzy grunge like this, but I really like this track. What about you?
High energy indie rock that's got some fuzz to it. Sign me the fuck up. This is a good track, man. I really like this one, actually.
More bands need to be described as fuzz, you
Right.
know?
And like, but they actually have to have some fuzz to them, you know?
Exactly. Oh no,
If,
you have to earn it.
yeah,
You have to earn the
if
adjectives.
you don't know what fuzz is, go check out any of Ty Segal's work.
Yes, well put. All right, we got a new one from Tucana called Sun's Coming Up. There is nothing like some Canadian grunge rock to get the blood pumping. Can definitely hear the Idols influence in this one, which I think is a good thing, and I imagine you do as well.
You know what's funny, bro? Is I think this guy sounds exactly like the dude from Viagra Boys.
I've been saying so many people sound like the guy from Viagra Boys lately. I don't know why that is.
So I wear band t-shirts pretty much every day. Sometimes I'll get a comment on it, but the one that gets me the most looks is my Viagra Boys t-shirt. I'll wear like literally people getting mutilated on my body if with like my Cannibal Corpse shirts, but the one that gets the most
Mhm.
looks is in the grocery store is the one that says Viagra on it.
Of course it is. You need a porn crumpet shirt too.
I know, man.
Oh, all right, man. We got a new one from Crypta called Trail of Traders. The song is fucking tight. It's kind of like Old Job for a Cowboy without the pig squeals. I dug it. What about you?
Yeah, man, these girls fucking rock. This is a full girl
Hell yeah.
deathcore, metalcore, whatever the fuck you want to call it, just metal, whatever. They fucking rock, man. The breakdown is sick on this track.
Yeah, really enjoyed this one.
Yep.
All right, we got a new one from Gone Feral called Gemini. Talk to me about this one.
This is aggressive as fuck, and I really dig it. Those exasperated vocals are sick. They kind of got those all those genty riffs like literally everybody in the metalcore scene right now, but I really did like this track.
Yeah, man, I love this one. Fun riffs, super fun melodies. This is the type of track that you have to enter the pit with a cartwheel into a spinning roundhouse kick to, or else it just was not worth it at all, you know?
Yep. Yep.
All right, let's move on to the EPs. We got two this week. First up, we got a new one from Anne Berlin called Convince. Props to them for dropping two great EPs in 12 months. I really liked the last one, but I think I liked this one a little bit more. Did you?
Dear God, John, this EP is fucking sick. They've gone full post hardcore on this one, and it works so well for them. I've been randomly singing "So Lacerate, Lacerate" all fucking week. Every track is a banger. I put this on in a room, and even people who like don't listen to rock very much were like, "Hey, who's this?" Big fan of this EP. I'm also a huge sucker for waves crashing samples on tracks, and I think I know you've been waiting for it. And my song of the week is "Animals," my boy.
Is it?
It is.
Okay. Damn, I was not expecting that.
I know, dude. Honestly, I wasn't either. I knew I was gonna like it because they put "Lacerate" out as a single, and I'm pretty sure we covered it. If we didn't, then I listened to it, and
We
it's
did it on the week where we did 2 weeks at once. So I think you did
there we go.
mention it, but we kind of glanced over it.
Yeah, it's a great EP, bro. Like this
Yeah,
is a great EP.
I agree, man. Really, really well done. We got a new one from Chlorine called Lust. I like this one. Kind of gazy indie grunge. I don't really have a lot to say about it, but I did enjoy it. What about you?
So this is I think somebody posted to like the Bandcamp subreddit or something like that, and they were like, "Please listen to our EP," and I was like, "Fuck it, I've got nothing better to do right now. Let's throw this shit on." It kind of blew me away a little bit, man. This is really good shoegaze stuff. Young band apparently with something to prove. They have a heaviness to them that just really works for me. Lots of fuzz, lots of gaze, tons of textures mixed in with some like actual melodies. I really did like this one. Good job, Chlorine.
All right. Before we move on to the albums, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
3.
And we are back. All right, jumping into the albums this week. First up, we got a new one from Latin producer Tainy. This album is called Data. I threw this one on because it was a slow week and I knew Skrillex and Fortet were going to be on a song. I didn't know at that time that it would also have features from Arca, Bad Bunny, Raul Alejandro. and the fucking Marias. I'm very
Right.
clearly going through a huge Latin pop phase these past few years, and releases like this are keeping me in that phase. This album is well put together and has cemented Tainy, I think, as one of the best Latin producers in the world right now. I'm giving this one an 8, man. You already know my standout. It's Manana, but Pa Siempre and Volver were on repeat for me all week as well. What about you?
So this album was a surprise for me, man.
I did not tell you I was adding this one.
There's a couple of things I didn't like about it. Its
Sure.
length. I understand that popular artists feel the need to pack albums full of content because honestly, that's the only way they make money with it. But it's annoying, and some of these are very clearly filler for me. I
Yeah.
think the reggaeton sections of the album kind of drag a little bit, and they feel a little generic. That being said, man, I loved a lot of the trappy stuff. I loved the dancey stuff. Big shout to Skrill and Fortet for producing with him on Volver. I'm practicing my Spanish, but I don't understand much
Did this
here.
one say die in the pit?
No, it did not.
Damn it.
There was no muriendo en la pit here. Look, man, lots of different styles of speaking Spanish, and even though I'm practicing, I know, and I do understand like a little bit of it. It's an obvious handicap when reviewing music in Spanish.
Yeah.
Some tracks I loved: Pa Siempre, Mojave
Incredible.
Ghost, Mañana,
Yep.
Volver, Me Jody. The strings coming in towards the end of that are fucking neat, and Archangel's vocals are fucking awesome. I'm actually
Yeah.
going to give this one like a high 6, low 7. My
Fair?
standout, though, I kept going back to it, though. Pa Siempre. Fucking
Of course.
banger.
Yeah,
Absolute
it's like
banger.
6 minutes and it's all great.
Absolute banger.
Every like drop on that song, I kind of like throw a hand up in motion
Right.
with the beat. It's incredible. The only reason Mignon is my standout, it's not a better song, but just hearing her voice again, man, gets me
right.
every fucking time.
Right.
Yeah, they posted like a post of her the other day and it just said like, "Did you miss me?" And now I am hoping we get more than just this. But goddamn, I'm glad they've been on a few Bad Bunny records now. They're working with a lot of Latin artists, and I think that that is good for all of
Hell yeah.
us.
Hell yeah.
All right. We got a new album from Currency and Harry Fraud called Vices. Talk to me about this one.
Alrighty, sir. So, da, 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 da. Anyways, I came into this knowing I was gonna like it, but I really wasn't prepared to like this album as much as I did. Harry Fraud and Currency together is kind of a match made in the streets, man. Production, as expected, is top notch. Harry Fraud really went for it. That intro to Marble Columns is fucking insane. Just from La Musica to
Beautiful.
Harry Fraud, saxophone. Uh, Currency does his thing like he always does.
Yep.
Slow, drawn out verses and his signature stoned out of his mind pentameter. Benny the Butcher's verse on Stingray is very Vice City to me, along with that production. The Jim Jones feature works so well with that beat. But the real star of this album, like I said earlier, is Marble Columns with Larry June. I am still really digging this album this year, his album this year, and I would fucking love an entire project with these two, with Harry Fraud's productions. Honestly, it's a missed opportunity. It should have just been a Larry and a Currency album here. 9 tracks, 22 minutes. There's no fat on it. Fantastic Currency project. I'm going to give it a 7. My standout is, like I said, Marble Columns. What did you think about it?
I mean, you said it, man. It's Currency rapping over Harry Fraud beats. If you like either of them, you're gonna like this. I'm a fan of both of them, so I enjoyed it. It's straight to the point, doesn't overstay its welcome, and it's nothing but laid back vibes to smoke and chill or drive to. It's the perfect album to throw on during like a hot summer day and relax. And like you said, clocking in at only 22 minutes, you can run it back as much as you want without getting tired of it. The only thing I got tired of when listening to this album was Harry Fraud's producer beat on every track. I'm giving this one a 7. My standout is Black Point Boat Launch.
Nice.
Moving on, we got a new album from Ellie Dollar called Bigger in Texas. So this album, back to back with the new Currency album, is just a fucking vibe, man. I was
Isn't it?
floating all week. Yeah. I've never been to Houston, but I imagine this album sounds like what summer nights in Houston feel like. put this on, crack a cold beer, eat some barbecue tacos. It's hard to imagine life getting better than that. The
Right.
beats on this album are immaculate, and the verses are, they never try to be bigger than the songs themselves. It's just well done, well put together. I'm also giving this one a 7. My standouts are El Dorado and Game Plan. How are you feeling about this one?
Exactly the way you are, man. You introduced me to Ellie Dollar. I think it was last year
Hmm.
or 2021.
With that Bun B collab
Oh yeah, man.
EP.
I've been a big fan, and I've gone back to that Distant EP pretty regularly when I'm smoking.
Yeah, still good.
He's got this confidence to him that just really shines. Love the Slim features. Love the Freddie Gibbs feature. Absolutely love the Paul Wall feature. This is Texas rap to a T. It fucking bangs. I gotta say, El Dorado is a great track. So is What It Is. I mean, Papa Do Platter's a good track. Hold 'Em Forever. They're all good, man. It's a really good album. I like this one. I'm gonna
Well
give it a
done.
7.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is this one from Trophy Eyes called Suicide and Sunshine. I've been waiting to get your opinion on this one all week.
Alrighty, man. I think this is my most listened to album this week. I saw a ton of hype around this album when it dropped, and
That's what
if
you
you
were
know
saying, yeah.
me, a lot of people do. Anybody who's listening to me, you know that hype. I immediately start to get skeptical, and I did. It actually took me a few listens to get into it, to be honest with you. Probably because I'm not a huge fan of theirs. It was kind of his voice is abrasive a little bit at times. Besides what we've covered on the podcast so far, which like isn't much here. I think we've only covered like a song or two of theirs, like maybe even. I'm going to be checking out their older stuff because I do really like this one. I love his voice. I really didn't at first, but it's kind of complementary to the instrumentals in like a contradictory sort of way. Speaking of instrumentals, holy shit, man. The drumming on this record is top notch. It's mixed in the background, though. And I think it should have a way more upfront representation because the drumming really makes the album for me. The
Hmm.
bass work is phenomenal, and obviously the guitars do a lot of heavy lifting here. I can't quite place this album genre wise. I think it could fit into the pop punk world. I think it could fit into the post hardcore world. Shit, they could probably tour with a hardcore band and it would go off well. I love that. It's ambiguous yet targeted emotionally. Tracks like People Like You and Runaway Come Home really make this album. The raw emotion paired with the keyboard laden music is in incredibly catchy hooks. I love the vocal filters that they used being complementary and not changing too much of his voice.
Hmm.
Vocal filters tend to take away from the music for me a lot of the time. I really dislike when bands put two of their slower tracks back to back. It kills the continuity of an album for me. Both Burden and Sean are great tracks, but I wish they either spread them out a little or put them at the end of the record or fucking something. That's pretty much it. It's poppy, it's emotional, it's raw, it's produced well. They clearly have a ton of talent. And I'm gonna give this one an 8, man. Standout is either Stay Here or People Like You. What did you think about it?
So you told me before this review that it was getting a lot of praise online, and after listening to it, I can definitely see why, man. It is very well done. The songwriting, the instrumentation, all of it hits in a way that an album like this should. I don't even have any comps for it, like you said. I don't even have like a in-depth breakdown for this album. I just really liked it. Some songs are heavy, some are more melodic, but nothing feels out of place. Obviously, I gravitate towards the heavier songs on an album like this, so my
Same.
standouts are also People Like You, Blue Eyed Boy, but I didn't have any skips on it whenever this one came on this week, which was multiple times. I'm giving this one an 8 as well, man. I loved it.
Hey, I'm glad you liked it, man. And again, I was super skeptical going in. When there's like a lot of hype around it, my conspiracy brain starts going, this is manufactured. This is not
Yeah,
manufactured. This band is probably a little underrated in whatever fucking scene they wanted to belong to this week. And yeah, man, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I liked this one a lot.
I did. All right, let's cap this week's albums off with an album called Spectrums by an artist called Dusk. Tell me where you found this one.
I found this one through Bandcamp. I Look, man, I threw this on because I've had Dusk on my radar for like a pretty short amount of time. And to be completely honest, we didn't have enough heavy music on this week's playlist. I have to say, though, with all of its flaws, which there are some, and we'll get into it, I'm a huge fan of the ambition that this album represents. Dusk being a young artist, and you can tell at times with the mixing, and the instrumentation is pretty rough in a couple of moments, like that song "Hatred." Even though Alex Hamilton is a great vocalist on this track, I've never heard him before, but I really do like his vocals on this one. The melodies that are attempted to be created are a little rough. But honestly, man, that being said, the concept of an electronic infused metal record with interchanging vocalists, all providing different vibes to the tracks, is something that even most veteran artists will stay away from because it's so easy to not have a cohesive end product. And I think Dusk did a pretty good job with it, despite some of its obvious flaws. I'm still impressed with the ambition. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. My standout is burning in my mind. That intro and execution of this track is fucking neat. What did you think about Dusk?
I had no idea what to expect going into this album, and I feel like that's probably the best way to go into this
I
album
agree.
because there's so much going on here. It's such a dynamic range of sounds, not just vocally. And going in with an expectation would kind of set you up for failure. There's a little bit of everything on here, post-hardcore, metalcore, even some new metal,
Yep.
and that's just the first three songs. Everything about this just feels so raw and do it yourself. It's hard not to be impressed by the ambition behind this project alone. My only real criticism on this one is that I wish it was just mixed a little better,
Yeah.
but I think that the imperfect mix only kind of adds to its charm in a way. I'm giving this one a 6 overall. My standout is a toss up between Breathe In, Breathe Out, Hatred, and Agnes of Rome. But I enjoyed this one overall.
Nice. I'm glad you did. It was an ad that I had never previewed, and it came out, and I was like, "Fuck it, we need some heavy music on here. Let's throw this one on here." I'm glad. I think I think it's really neat, man. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad I listened to it. And I will definitely be continuing to follow Dusk. So
Same. Yeah, it was a tough one to score, but I think for just going pass fail, it's a pass.
yeah, for sure, easy.
All right, that does it for us this week. Join us next week when we will be breaking down new albums from Dominic Fike, Group Love, Gus Dapperton, Kenny Hoopla, and much, much more. If you liked the show, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram and Reddit. Just search Brandon's Face Pod. Make sure you follow the playlist that the podcast is based on. You can find the link to that in the show notes. It's updated weekly and sorted by genre. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.